Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome back to episode 7 of Europa Universalis for As the Iroquois, as we start off with the By Fire event again. Now this may well be the last video of this particular playthrough. As I mentioned on a couple of the previous videos, this is my second attempt at playing as the Iroquois. And it seems to me that every time I try and play as a Native American, this is the third time I've tried playing as a Native American in EU4. Every time I try and play a game as a Native American, Paradox seem to make it harder to take more land, and in fact, it's pretty impossible to get a CB against your neighbours. There's only really two types of CB you can get as a Native American. That's the Forced Migration CB and the Humiliate Rival CB. There are a couple of other things like trade disputes and diplomatic insults, but they've always been pretty terrible CBs to begin with. The Forced Migration CB is pretty random and sporadic because you have to wait for a single province tribe to relocate adjacent to your borders anyway. And the Humiliate Rival CB is also a little bit weird because Paradox made a change to EU for several DLCs ago that stopped you from being able to rival whoever you want, and you can now only rival from a small selection of people of a similar size. This makes things very, very difficult because sometimes you can only pick from one rival who may be massively more powerful than you, and even if you do manage to fight them and defeat them in a war, then you've probably got a 15-year truce before you can do anything. So really the only way to actually to get land in this game, because neither of those CBs allow you to take land. You can't vassalize, you can't annex, you can't take cores or anything. The only real way to get land as a Native American is to colonize. Now that's absolutely fine, because as the Native Americans, one of the diplomatic ideas that you can pick up is getting a colonist. But the problem is you make so little money as a Native American, it's very, very difficult to actually sustain a colony. I guess we're going to lose the Diplo power. I think we'll keep going and... well, we can't even improve the base tax there anymore. Improve base tax where I can in a few provinces here and there. Colony has become self-sustaining. Excellent. Let us go and... well, yeah, we definitely want to make it into a state. I wish that would automatically minimise. Make it into a state, and of course that means we'll have to core it. We also want to go and raise stability, I think. Now, let's go ahead and start colonising Manhattan. Again, it's going to cost us a little bit of money, but the more quickly we can reach the coast, the more likely we are to get a western neighbour that will allow us to reform our government. As we are making some money, even though it is only a tiny bit, we are going to go and start building up our army. Still very short on manpower. I love how Lupe is... you can't even see the colour because of all the trees there. There we go, it's sorted itself out now. The trees weren't actually allowing us to see the colour of the map. Now, getting all these guys together, having a much bigger army, this should definitely allow us to beat Lupe. Now, we've got a rather big group there, so we'll have to split them up over two provinces. That is not a problem at all. We could potentially even have two armies here. Now then, how close are we to getting a military tech? We're actually close to getting some extra land morale. So that might be quite nice. We're almost up to a 100% penalty because we are 2 institutions behind. And again, that's completely understandable. It's still better than being 250%, a 250% penalty from the very start of the game, which is what the Native Americans used to be. Gain 100 military power or yearly army tradition. No, I'm just going to take the military power. That puts us closer to that. Truce with Abenaki ended. I'm guessing there's probably not really an awful lot that I can do against them. Got no CB, so all of that is pretty pointless. So Huron is still my only rival at the moment. Slightly over my diplomatic relations limit, but that is fine. Not too bothered about that. Paratomi we could probably... suck up to a little bit more. Where are you guys now? you guys. There we go. Go and improve relations with you a little bit. So yeah, I can probably have enough troops to fight these guys. The Cree and Ottawa and Miami are their allies. The Cree is up here. Ottawa and Miami are down here somewhere. There's Ottawa, there's Miami. So they're quite some distance away. Let's gain the mercantilism. We can go ahead and take the military power. The next one will actually give us land morale and military tactics. We still don't get any new units until we get to level 5, so... And even then, they're all sort of native. I mean, look, North American guerrillas, level 26. American westernized infantry, 30. Rifle scout, Creek. So, you see, you could basically stay, without ever reforming, you could stay as a native the whole way through the game. But you're going to be very, very limited in what you're able to do. I also find it strange that I don't think natives can build boats, which is ridiculous, because obviously Native Americans did have boats. Obviously they didn't have, like, ships and galleys and things like that, but they knew what shipbuilding was, right? They could build boats and transport troops at the very least. So that whole thing is a little bit weird. If we were to go and build a irrigation well on there, we'd get another 0.8 or 0.08 ducats, so we'll go ahead and do that. But yes, we definitely want to go and attack our rival if we can, but we'll need to make sure we've got at least 20,000 men, because we're going to have to take 8,000 from the Cree as well as the 12,000 from Huron. And as it stands at the moment, Powhatan would come in and help me, but nobody else would. But again, we could use our humiliate rival CB to do a show of power and give ourselves some power projection and some monarch points, but it's not going to allow us to take any land, so we have to continue colonizing. Now, this is why I was suggesting, and again, I've brought this up on a couple of the videos in this series. This is video number 7, and I've played the whole first 7 videos of this campaign back to back. I started recording a couple of hours ago. There hasn't been a break in between, so... by this point, I haven't had a chance to read any comments from the first video. It's not rendered and uploaded or anything. But what I was thinking is ending this campaign, if I can create a custom nation in the New World that doesn't force me to have to play like a native and not be able to declare war on people. Because I'm actually finding that quite a... I wouldn't say a challenge, because it is possible. It's just slow and it's boring. I like being able to declare wars. That's what EU4 is about. If you can't declare war with people, what is the point? We are still making a little bit of money. We can still afford to get a few more men. So we are up to 16,000. Now that's still not quite enough to take out these two guys alone. So, you know, if they manage to consolidate, it's going to be a problem. We'll lose the Diplo here. I'm more concerned about getting the admin power. It's very unlikely that we're going to be able to get any techs for a while. Global trade power is certainly nice. What I have been doing is using a little bit of my admin power to not only boost stability, but also to increase the value of some of my provinces, so that we can get a few more tax ducats coming out of them. So I guess one thing you can try and do as a Native American is to play tall instead of playing wide. But it's still a very, very risky thing to try and do. It'd be nice if the Cree went a little bit further away. I guess we don't have any valid reason to attack the Cree. No, unfortunately not. Feels like we're very, very stuck for options at this point. But we're still making some money. We could definitely get some more soldiers. Or some more archers, because they're not really soldiers at this point. So let's go ahead and do that. This particular music sounds very much like Lord of the Rings. It's got the violin is very much like the Rohan theme, and then it's almost got that dwarven chanting from the Mines of Moria in there as well. I've always loved the music in Paradox games. They always do an absolutely fantastic job with that. If only they could do as good of a job with their AI. Our truce with Fox has ended. If I was to go and declare war on you now... Oh, you've got a lot of friends again. The Creek, Asajj... Oh, I've got no CB against you because we can't rival you anymore. Okay, that's fair enough, I suppose. But our truce has ended. It's all the same. Let's keep going and grouping you together. Like I said, we need at least 20 men of our own to be able to successfully deal with their armies. But I'd like my allies to get involved. We're still making money, which is good. But yeah, I think I'm just going to use admin points and basically bump up my admin as much as I can in all of these provinces. Because that will increase the amount of money we're making. We're actually making some sensible money now. Now, I had a mission to create an army. How many men did I have to get for that one? 75% of the force limit. Force limit is 25, so 75% of that would technically be... 18? I would have thought 18. That's my force limit's gone up. Force limit is 27. So half of 27 would be 13.5. And half of 13.5 would be 6.75. So yeah, it's going to be about 20. So if I get 2021, we should complete that mission. We don't have enough ducats yet to do that, so we do now. So if this doesn't do it, the next troop will, and then we can get the next mission. That's why we had a mission to protect against Huron, because they had 12k troops. I should have probably gone for that mission first. It doesn't make a huge deal of difference, if I'm perfectly honest. Just gotta wait for that money to come rolling in. Just trying to readjust my microphone there a little bit. Sometimes it seems like my input volume level's quite low. Not too sure what it's doing recently, but it seems a little bit strange. Still, I'd sooner it be too low than too loud and clipping all over the place. Well, that certainly didn't complete the mission, so it looks like we are going to have to get at least one more troop. We should be able to do that in a couple of months as soon as we have the money to do so. But yeah, we're playing at speed 4. There's not an awful lot going on. I know people do ask me why... I've not, like I said, I haven't even uploaded the first video yet, so I haven't read any of the comments, but I can guarantee someone will have put, why aren't I playing on speed 5? Even though my computer is an absolute beast, whenever you run EU4 on speed 5, it seems to drop frames. It's just not very well optimized. The problem with EU4, and in fact it's not just EU4, it's all the games that use the Clausewitz engine, because it's a limitation of the Clausewitz engine, it doesn't multi-core. So you can have a top-of-the-range processor, but EU4 is going to be running on a single core. So when it's running on speed 5, it tends to drop frames all over the place. Speed 4, it'll just about manage without problems most of the time, but I wouldn't ever really risk it on speed 5. It's just too much messing around to try and get the audio to sync up. Manpower reserves need to recover. Let's do that. We are... Yeah, national unrest is massively in the negatives, which is fine. I guess we could change our policy. Let's change it to native trading policy. Lowers our stability. Okay, we'll do it anyway. We'll go ahead and boost the stability back up. So what that will basically do now is we should get our colonies a little bit faster. However, there is very much the potential that we'll get native uprisings that we might need to take care of. Let's lose the Diplo. Now, apparently, we have naval supplies in Manhattan. The trade goods in Manhattan is naval supplies. Yet, as natives, we have no idea what boats are. So we do not know what boats are, but we have naval supplies. So that makes a lot of sense. Again, migration CBs probably can't do anything. Well, we're allied with you anyway, aren't we? Can we see any... Oh, it's the Burning Fields jobby again. That didn't work that time, so we lose another stability. Unfortunate. Like I said, I always like to be at least +1 stability. Let's go up to +2. Let's go wild. It's not like we can spend any more on boosting our provinces at the moment. Still cannot see any of the Westerners yet. Doesn't look like anyone has started colonizing over here. But hopefully if they do, we'll bump into them. Now we've got more trade power here. So we are sort of pushing the trade this way. Not that it makes a huge deal of difference. And we're collecting a little bit up there. Now we probably want to send you to transfer trade from... which one's this one? This is Chesapeake. So if we move you from the Gulf of St. Lawrence... And then we can push this... Now, where's most of our province? Most of our land... okay, we've got issues. Most of our land is actually in this area. Including our capital. So we probably want to force it that way. So let's have a quick look at what our trade currently is. Trade is currently 0.54 ducats. Yeah, this is what I was worried about with natives. So we'll have to go down there. They're probably going to get it, unfortunately. Yeah, they've done some damage to the colony. But we'll just sit some units on it. It should stop that from happening again in the future. The Great Advisor has died. That's unfortunate. 56, we're making slightly more. And the guy we had was he was actually, I think, a discipline guy. I'm not too sure I want to use either of these at the moment. Potawatomi's opinion, lose Diplo power, or just let them build their spy network. I mean, what difference is that going to make to me? It's not really going to change anything. Stability cost, yearly prestige, missionary strength, all kind of useless. Trade efficiency. Trade efficiency might not be too bad. It makes a little bit more money from trade doing that. So let's go and work on that. There we go, we made a little bit more. And let's go ahead and keep building up towards the force limit where we can. Because we are still a little bit short there. We've got the Cree over here. Now that might actually make the Cree a little bit easier to jump on, actually. The Cree, Ottawa, Miami. Yeah, you're all still involved. Susquehannock, Potawatomi, and Powhatan would all get involved in this battle with me right now. Let's go ahead and get some people up here. And let's go ahead and give you our... Oh, we're gaining some corruption. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and give you our leader. Now, let's go ahead and put up our army maintenance and get ready for this battle. So we'll do that. We'll also, I think, go and get at least one more... Native American archer. So we'll try and roll through and jump on Ontario first. When ruling the Iroquois, get -5% technology cost. Very nice. Now then, how big can we make this stack before getting a ton of attrition? Supply limit is 14, so we can get another unit in that stack. And that'll put us up to 25. I guess we could just get 2 more. We are still making money, even though we are at full maintenance, which is good. And then we'll be at our force limit. So my sort of intention is to try and quickly roll over... Oh, there we go. Stability drop. How typical. Oh, and our new chief, whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce... No, I will attempt to pronounce it. Chief... Konniagualong Kowago Konug Harry Gu Harry. Yeah, that guy. He's a naive enthusiast, and when ruling, it will give us -20% to improve relations. His name is quite difficult to pronounce. I suppose what I really want to do is boost my stability again, although I didn't really need to. Let's roll him into a general. That's actually, he's not bad. He's a 132. Doesn't have any siege, which is a bit unfortunate. Remember to actually put him in charge of the army would help. These guys, what's the weight here? Supply limit 22. Of course, it's coastal, so there's quite a lot of room there. So let's go ahead and get you guys over. And natives just happened to fire as we moved in, which is fine because we beat them quite easily. We're still quite low on manpower. Got a fair bit to recover there. Of course, we've been constantly building new regiments, which is why that's gone up. So it will take a little bit of time to recover that. Trading in tobacco happened to us. Foreign spy detection plus 25%. Not really all that useful to us, really. I'm not going to start the war now because I'm about to end the video, and starting a war and then stopping, especially if I end up then like not coming back to this game and playing it for a week. And I hate coming back in the middle of a war because I kind of forget what's going on. But like I said, this might be the last video in this series because it is quite slow, and I might actually have a look and see if it's possible to build a custom nation. In all honesty, I've always wanted to try one of the custom nations, and I've never bothered doing it before. And I was thinking about doing it before I even started recording this series, but then I thought, well, no, I don't really want to spend the time creating the nation. I'm just going to go in and play, because my time is limited. So I thought I'll just go and pick one of the nations and start playing. And this was the nation I picked, even though it's one that I've already done before. But I'm beginning to regret that a little bit. I think we're doing quite well. I mean, compare us to the sort of other Native Americans. We are certainly all sort of moving towards each other. But, you know, we are certainly the largest. But the inability to take more land just makes the whole thing an absolute nightmare. Even though Manhattan's growing quite quickly here, and we can't see any of the Westerners yet that have come to settle. But I'll give it some thought, and well, I'll let you guys know what is going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the game there. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you have been enjoying this playthrough of Europa Universalis 4. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, goodbye for now.